The Deep Freeze Productions and Maserati Santana
Yo.
on the Rize TV, yo. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, what do you say? You go to your girl house and I go to mine.
Word.
Because I know my girl's definitely mad because it took us too long to do this interview.
You right, man.
By the way, my name is Nervous Wreck. That's Filthy Rich. We are Bomm Sheltuh from Fayetteville. Shout out Maserati Santana. And this is On the Rize TV.
And yo, what happened to peace?
Fuck peace.
Yo, America, what's up, man? Back once again. Listen up. Tonight, we got a special edition on the Rize TV, very exclusive. So make sure you tap in with me right now. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel on the Rize TV. Hit that notification bell, man. You already know what time it is. Also, find and follow me right now on Instagram, MazzyBracken18. That's M-A-Z-2-E's, B-R-A-2-C's, K-I-N-1-8. Also, find me on Facebook, Maserati Santana. And I am Maserati Santana. Don't forget to put that king in front of it. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guests, man. Who we got in the building with me tonight?
Yo, Nervous Wreck from Bomm Sheltuh.
Welcome, welcome.
Filthy from Bomm Sheltuh.
Facts. Welcome to the show, man. We got Nervous Wreck. We got Filthy Rich over here, man. Like, how y'all feeling? How was y'all holiday? What was going on with y'all?
Everything was good, man. I was actually down here with family.
Facts.
Yeah.
Did y'all eat a lot?
Oh, man.
You look like you ate a lot.
like,
You ate a lot?
Nah, I ate so like when I start talking, all of a sudden the lights get dim. Nah, actually, I didn't chill with family that much. My family's not around. I just y'all go ahead with the podcast, but nah, I didn't really. I was just I got my problems with the holidays. You guys, well, if some people are familiar with me, they know. Don't open that Pandora's box. Like, then my mom died. You know what I'm saying? But real rap. Some days are the holidays are just they suck for some people. So I don't mean that it was good because definitely as long as him and his fam is great, I'm great. But it's just like I just also want to make sure that sometimes during the holidays, just everybody isn't as fortunate as everybody. You know what I mean? So hopefully I'll get there one day. But I got stricken with certain situations that I think a lot of people go through out there. So at the end of the day, holidays, great.
That's a fact.
I don't know how to. I'm sorry. Y'all just let me go.
No, you good. Just welcome to the show, man. I'm glad to have y'all aboard
Thank you.
on the Rize TV, man. This platform is all about getting to know the artists, and we definitely want to get to know Bomm Sheltuh, you know, especially for the first time to being a part of this platform. But really, man, there's people out there, man, that's from Fayetteville that never got a chance to even run into y'all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe was too young to even know who y'all were. But now they actually get a chance and a platform to find out the real story behind Nervous Wreck and Filthy Rich and Bomm Sheltuh. So let's get to it. First, I want to start with you, Wreck. How did you even come up with, what's the story behind your name?
I was at my house, the Sheltuh, watching TV with my mom one day. It was like a soap opera.
I'm sorry.
Pretty much. But it was just like some TV show on, and the lady was like, "You're a Nervous Wreck." And as soon as she said it, I was just like, "Nervous Wreck, that's kind of dope." And I ran it past him, and he was like, "Yeah, Nervous Wreck, that's hot." And that's pretty much it. But I had like a bunch of corny names before that, though. So like,
the fun part. He's the one that gave me my name. So
Yeah.
same soap opera. So like Bold and Beautiful, like all my children, whoever, like appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Facts. What was you like as far as like growing up in Fayetteville?
I was a nerdy kid that loved hip hop, and when I lived in Fayetteville, and then I went to Germany for 7 years, and then I came back to Fayetteville. And when I got back here, I had found hip hop while I was in Germany. I started DJing while I was in Germany, and I found just like my neighborhood crew that I ran with. They knew that I DJ'd or whatever, or I was collecting records and playing records and instrumentals, so I started having cats come around. I just became known as the cat that got like the DJ equipment and the records and stuff like that. Like, cats knew me for, for that. And I wasn't rapping at that time. I was just trying to DJ. And one thing led to another. I ended up just starting up a little group with some cats in the neighborhood. And one thing turned to another. I was like kind of ghostwriting at first. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm about to just write myself. And then I just started writing and linked up with another cat on the other side of the neighborhood and ended up meeting him. I mean, it's way deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I can get into all that, but it's definitely a long story.
Right. So before we get into how you met 50, let's continue talking about you was DJing first, right? So what was the qualities with you DJing? Like, how did that kind of like transition you into being an artist?
I guess it made me like definitely pay attention to the production side more. I knew nothing about production when I was DJing either. I had no idea where beats came from. I didn't know there was such a thing as a beat machine or none of that. So I don't know. I guess you could say it gave me rhythm because I was called DJ Rough Rhythm back in the day.
Oh man! So how long has this been? Like when did you start? Do you remember your first DJing gig?
I do. It was actually in Germany, and I was 12 years old. And another cat that I was cool with, his dad was like the DJ on the bass for like all the youth center dances and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And at the time, I only had like a mixer and like some old ass turntables. I didn't have like no real official turntables. And his dad had like the whole, PA system, turntables and all that. And some type of family emergency happened after he had set up and started DJing at the youth center, and he had to leave. And he just like kept the music playing, and everybody was kind of standing there like, what the hell are we supposed to do? So I walked up there like, I got this.
Right.
And I just started playing his records, and I'm not, trying to act like I killed it, but I mean, I kept the party going for the whole night, at least. That was like my first gig, like indirectly. And then after that, it was just like, I never DJed like in a club and nothing like that. I was like way too young, you know what I'm saying? But I would DJ house parties and shit like that. And who was that one chick you?
Denise Moultrie from high school.
I'm just saying, what was she like? She did a dance or something, right? I forget what she did.
When they had like a birthday party. You talking about we was in the Merc or off the Merc, and then it was
I'm talking about the one at the
NCO club.
NCO club.
Yeah.
So yeah, my gig list can be counted probably on less than two hands. So yeah, I wasn't like a DJ out. I was more like like a premiere, just at the house trying to scratch and get nice, but I wasn't really worried about being a club DJ and none of that. I was trying to be, But
you were preparing yourself though.
Right.
For what's to come.
Yeah.
50, talk to me, man. Talk about the first time that you met Rec over here, man.
Shit, I believe it was, what year was that?
90 or 91.
Nah, I'm fucking with you. I remember the shit I did the other one. It was a cold day.
Yeah.
93. I was standing outside looking for trouble. Yeah. And then, but no, serious, that is an old joke. But we basically, it was far from that. It was like, it was more like, wah, wah, wah. I was a nerd, like just trying to find my way. And basically found a little way to construct a situation. This is how serious it was. Like I was tired of getting beaten up by bullies, and back in those days, if you belonged to some rap shit, it was the equivalent of what these youngins. Oh God, I'm old. But what these youngins do now with the gangs, it's the same equivalent where you wanted to belong to something. You know what I mean? And so at the chance of just being able to hang out and play hip hop music, I had got a card from somebody, and long story short, I middlemaned a little deal to get like Nerve and his peoples to like over at this one producer, Vic. You might remember Maurice Grady.
Yep.
Shady Grady.
Mo. Mo.
Yo. Oh boy. Don't let me go down that rabbit hole. But anyway,
He's still around.
Oh, come on, man. You lobbed it up by the basket. But anyway, it was the likes of people like Tommy Cold Crush, R.I.P. Man, he used to be in Cross Creek Courts, in the courts and whatnot.
Campbell
Terrace. God, I always forget the name of that. Knowing how much crack my mother bought for, I have a lot of nerves. But either way, you had him. and then you had Sean Beeman and stuff. But my point is, we basically I finagled the deal, and things went down, and I waited to weasel my way in the group, and I luckily did because somebody couldn't make it to the session. So when I did that, I want to say about a good maybe a year or so passes, and we had a trio because I wasn't the star. The dude named Mark, the hitman, our homeboy Snipes, he was the star. And basically what ends up happening is Snipes just got a bug in his ass where he was like, look, I'm going to go, basically just work on setting up a regular structured type of life. No beefers or nothing. So he did that, and when he did that, I swear my brain was like, now's your chance. I was like, well, I'm here, B. You know what I'm saying? And it was just really one of those things where, man, if he was out here serial killing, I probably would have been like, yo, I can help you with the knives and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And when we connected, that was, for me, it was 10th grade, so I was 14 years old. So about 14, I basically linked up with him. And ever since, I mean, you got to help rope me in here because I ramble. Rope me in. But basically, it was like about 14, met him. By 15, I was going to Smith.
It was in 8th grade. We met at Ann Chestnut Junior High School on Scabo Road.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was it like something instant, or y'all had like the
That's what I'm saying. Like,
feel each other
so
out?
when I was, had the cats that I played ball with in the neighborhood coming over, rapping to like instrumentals I was playing, it got word to another cat named Snipes that lived on the other side of the neighborhood, and he started coming around. So, we all rode the same bus all the way over to Chestnut, and he was cool with Filthy. So, he started telling me like, yo, this cat, Filthy, got a studio we can go to. And that's when he talking about, he said he finagled his way into the group. Basically, Filthy found a studio for me, Snipes, and another homeboy named Harrell, and we was kind of like a trio group at the time, but it was like loosely, like it wasn't nothing official, you know what I'm saying?
But it was the start of something.
It was the start. And then Harrell ended up not making it that day. Filthy came, and then when we was there with Maurice Grady, that was like our first studio time ever. And like, we could say it was a bad experience because we was kids and we felt like we was getting ripped off for $100 an hour or whatever it was, studio time, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, we learned a lot too, you know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, we learned how beats were made on equipment. That was our first time walking in and seeing like keyboards and mics, and we was just like, oh shit, this is a studio, you know what I'm saying? Like, coming from just having turntables and a mixer to seeing that, we was like, oh shit, like, it's about to go down. So anyway,
crazy, gotcha, bitch, right?
But anyway, Filthy was there. Like I said, he took us over there. He didn't really know Maurice at all, but he, kind of brokered us to get up in there.
No doubt.
And then he pulls out a rap out his pocket, busts the rap, and I was like,
all night long.
Damn, that's just all right. You know what I'm saying? And he ends up. Did you lay it on the song?
I think I did. I wasted the rest of our studio time because I was fucking up over and over.
So all three of us laid that song down, and then when we left from there, we was just like, yo, what about all three of us being a group? So from there, at that time we was a group, and we went through, several name changes. But like he was saying, later on, we got to high school, Snipes dropped out, and it became us.
So tell me about the start of Bomm Sheltuh.
So you want to tell them the friend story?
Just like I said, we gonna make sure we ain't give y'all, none of the same material shit. So but basically, we were going through name changes. We had been through. We went from Wolfpack, Roughnecks, Necessary Roughness. We tried out a plethora of other joints, and we landed on at Necessary Roughness. It sounded like it was too many syllables to sit up there on stage and say, walking back for like, yo, what's up with this Necessary Roughness?
Yeah.
So we was just man. We was in the shed. Smoking drugs. I think Brian had his heroin. I had when I fuck with you. But we was sitting there smoking a blunt.
I was sniffing coke.
That's the coke. Okay, the coke. That's right. I was doing the kitty porn. I'll tell y'all later. Anyway, the whole thing is we was in the shed, and it was Hurricane Fran was out there, and when we was sitting out there, it was me, B, and his brother. And we was like, man, this is crazy. It's like we sitting in some type of bomb shelter. And like me, I'm normally like, I get a lot of weird credit for shit, but it's like I'm really slow on the draw and stuff. So I'm just sitting there, and B was like, "Yo, that's a name." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, you know." And then so it took a while, and then all of a sudden it was like basically Bomm Sheltuh. Bomm Sheltuh just rolled off your tongue, and we wanted something that just sounded tough, but not. We were like the type of MCs that we were into, but like in my opinion, were like the ones that was tough, but they didn't take themselves too serious. And for me, my I guess Greek god or whatever was Redman. And all it took was that part where he got to the middle of Blow Your Mind, where he goes, so he got Mugata Voodoo Gata.
Oh, yeah,
and when he got to that last line, Nugu, nah, forget it. I kicked out. I was like, he's the best rapper on earth. Right then and there, just because I never seen somebody go straight up hardcore, make you giggle for a second, and then just get right back into it. And that's all I ever wanted to, kind of just emulate, because I knew I wasn't ready for the street. My mom is the gangster.
Right.
That's you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And trust me, it sounds fun, but it's very irritating.
Rick, what was it about his flow that kind of like made it stick, like towards you wanted to create a group?
You talking about when I first heard him?
Yeah, when you first heard him.
I mean, he discredits himself a lot about that rap. When we heard it, I was like, damn, this is, like I said, this is coming from me ghostwriting for a couple cats in the neighborhood, except for Snipes. Snipes, like he said, was like the star. He was like the Inspector Deck of our group. Like he was the spitter. You know what I'm saying? And I was just learning how to rap. Like
he was
really nursery rhyme learning how to rap. You know what I'm saying? And then he came with his verse, and I was just like, oh shit, like he nice. You know what I'm saying? But then he just evolved over the years into a god MC.
Yo, it was us listening to motherfuckers, like, honestly, because I'll never stop waving that flag. It was the fact that he was in the KRS-One, so we had a bar already set where it was like, I was in the like Public Enemy and the same, like bunch of Strong Island types. So I was De La Soul and stuff like that. But it was the fact that he because he was in the KRS-One, he had the belief system of like, we could do all of this from here or whatever.
Fact.
So I would sit back and just watch in amazement, because he's really determined. So if he gets stuck on, I broke that boy's Newmark mixer, and he took it apart and put every wire, 100 and so I look at wires with little notes like this wire, that wire. It was amazing, but it let me know like, oh, this motherfucker will not let it go. If there's but it pays off because his attention to detail when it came down to quality. I'm the rusher, like, so you can get a leaked album from me and I'll be like, oh damn, they took Murder Music, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he's the type was like, no, and he's gonna work meticulously on each sound that comes out of that beat or whatever. So now the irony is, like, with the whole let's say stigma of a bomb shelter, non-perishable items and stuff like that, the way that he made a lot of joints, they stood, as you see with Vic, they stood the test of time. I didn't understand that. I still don't get it. I call it the engineer, like with an engine in the ear. Like he can pull it out the air. He's the first person up on Jigga. He was the first person up on Wu-Tang. And I'm talking about, I would tell him like, it'll never work. I was like,
crazy.
Big Daddy Kane not rapping? Whatever. Get out of here.
Like, tell me about so how did y'all guys get introduced to Vic Frost? Can you tell me about the very first time y'all ever met Vic Frost?
Oh, good night. It hit me at that speed.
I don't even want to blow up Vic Frost's spot right now.
The speed that you just see me laugh, all of that just hit my head. It's just like,
I don't know who watching this shit, so I can't tell the real story, but I'll give you the basic story. The chick I was trying to holler at the time, back in them days, was now my wife.
Facts.
Her sister knew Vic Frost. And she was just like, when I was telling her, I rap, I do music and all this and that, she was just like, I can get y'all on the radio. And I was like, what? She like, yeah, I can get y'all on the radio. So it was like one weekend, one Saturday, we all packed up in the car and drove out. What was it, Red Springs?
Oh man, it was out there. Where do we go, Vic? Where is that thing? That was Red Springs.
Yeah, that was Red Springs, yeah. So we packed up, went out to Red Springs. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, we got an interview and we on the radio. And that was the first time we met Vic Frost. It was that day.
Can you tell me about the Friday nights that Vic had having artists come to the station. You remember that? Shockwave, yeah.
What year was that?
Oh man, I mean,
2000.
and you know what? That's him on the radio, right? When remember that recording that I got where I was freestyling or whatever. And he's like, "Oh man, well, He's
Well,
actually.
You got to talk on that then, because that sounded like around the time I was leaving when he was.
Well, we
that.
got the recording of you when you played our joint.
Yeah.
When you played Graduate for us.
Yeah.
And I do remember that because you was on that. I can't remember if you was on the other joint where I ended up coming back up to the radio station and rhyming. But yeah, that's how far back we go with it. We go back to like the very big. He's the dude that played our joint for the first time. What was the name of that radio
station in Red Springs?
I forgot.
Because it was like right after that joint shut down is when like 107 popped off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
what was that joint? Do you remember, Jared? You don't remember? No, hell no. No, but that would have been great. Hey, shout out D103.
Facts. Let's talk about the record, bro. You sent us in a record. The name of that record is what?
Food, Clothing, and Sheltuh.
So what is the story behind the record? How long has it been out? Is it out? Or is it a release?
Yeah, the record came out in the year 2000. And since then, I mean, we've only had physical CDs of that album. It's never been on any streaming platforms or none of that. So you'll hear it first today on your show that we're about to put it on streaming platforms.
I'm sorry. Do y'all keep hearing how we keep burping?
Absolutely. Yeah, we got Bomm shut in the middle of this.
I'm so sorry about it. Yeah, please.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna have Bomm Sheltuh's first album, Food, Clothing, and Sheltuh, is coming out at the end of this year. Christmas, New Year's, it'll be on streaming platforms.
That's what it is.
Finally, after all these years.
And we wanted to basically, the thing is with us, we want to start, well not start, but we want to keep adding to the movement where it's vintage, man. I look at it like it's varsity club, you know what I mean? I call it VCR, varsity club raps, you know, where it's like, it's not supposed to be like not this, and this ain't shooting no shots. It ain't anything for real. But it's not supposed to be young sounding. It's showing you vintage wise, like we're talking about damn near the warm dat, if you will, of some of these. You know what I mean? Some of these songs where we wanted people to get that, and it's weird because back then, of course, it was all about like how much more technologically digital can you get everything. Now it's like, let you hear what we had, because it's the difference between the MPC and the ASR-10. Like the ASR-10 isn't garbage if you got somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
But the MPC is just gonna give it to you chop to chop to chop. But that ASR-10 is gonna give you a warm, you know what I mean, cohesion. So I feel like this right here is kind of a very respectable look back at how things was. And definitely since then, me and Nervous have worked on different projects, and you could, I mean, if you listen to J. Cole, that's an idea of like the part of the camp. It's a bigger sound than just us, you know what I mean? It's like it's putting this town inside of a bottle, and just, you know what I mean, just putting in a little vial right there to showing you like that's what we are. Absolutely. It's a certain vibe to this whole town that I think, from Black Watch to, you know, just anybody from, you know, Hood the Mayor, freaking Passport Scoob, I still mention Sonny the Star, Izzy Nice. I mean, just the whole Fayetteville Bombers situation. I really love the idea that we're trying to let people just see that there's a vintage sound and there's nothing wrong with owning that, and we could be in our own lane. So hopefully this will be the start of many more people from our, let's say, our circa, just basically just throwing their name in the hat and just seeing what happens. Because it's like, now you got nothing to lose. You don't got to worry about being signed or whatever. Just throw your shit out there and see if you know, you can relate to other people.
Absolutely. Fellas, I want y'all to throw the headphones on for me. Yeah. And then after you throw the headphones on, I want you to introduce that record to America. Very first time Bomm Sheltuh dropping a record on the Rize TV. This is about to be exclusive.
Yo, for some of y'all listening for the first time, welcome. Some of y'all might not have heard this in 22 years, so we about to remind y'all. This is Bomm Sheltuh, That's What We Do, off the classic Food, Clothing, and Sheltuh album.
The savage beast. Be afraid. shit go wrong.
And up from the dust emerges bomb shelter urges. We better than heaven sent. You hella worthless. Crossroads, wet y'all clothes was never squirting. Although you let off those, the wettest shirt wet. A bomb is involved. It's common for all audiences to revolve. Firearms for the call. Since the playpen, I kept fake friends with snake skins like. But that was my stupid ass. Don't blame them. I still know what you did last summer was real dope. We detoxed the globe to see past the billfold. Fucking rich folk. My peeps is custom built broke. Let me fix that. Cock the hammer to drill holes. Nothing personal. That's just
What we do?
I have an urge to smoke. That's just
What we do?
if the mic being used. That's just
What we do?
between me and you. That's just
What we do?
In the club, posted up, that's just.
What we do?
Yelling at the mud dogs, that's just.
What we do?
Getting drunk out in the car, that's just.
What we do?
Acting like superstars, that's
What
just.
we do?
I'm grounded on top of the globe, holding a torch. And I'm swatting fly rappers 80 miles off course. Away the biscuit for bitches hit the floor. My squad's more raw, the armed conquistadors. Dipped in the brand name under Earth Street glamour. Crash shooting shirts and bomb shelter bandanas. Still waiting to be a part of the congregation. You got the lock but don't know the combination. You far from the nicest kid, I'm the raw one. When's the last time you heard a Caucasian hard drum? I mean this, I'm heard past Mercury and Venus. My queen is in college and on the dean's list. Yo, get off my penis, prolonged satisfaction. How you gonna fuck with me? You just started rapping. All suicide rappers, single foul line. Splash a verse at you and throw up a peace sign. Wreck the hammer, Valentine, rhyme a cappella. Nerve record come from the bill like Cruella. We live though, breathe in a cloud of hydro. That's why shows be more packed than Skybo on the weekends. I be at the lab having meetings. You know it be the corny cats that always start beefing. And end up with crack bones and hurt feelings. Filthy rich this kid keep talking shit, I'ma steal
it's
it.
nothing personal. That's just
What we do?
I have an urge to smoke. That's just
What we do?
if the mic being used. That's just
What we do?
between me and you. That's just
What we do?
In the club, posted up, that's just.
What we do?
Yelling at the mud dogs, that's just.
What we do?
Getting drunk out in the car, that's
What
just.
we do?
Acting like superstars, that's just.
what's the really? Live and filthy. To my guilty, to proven innocent. Bricks grill piece. You untouchable, but still feel me. Get it, you collect calls, pencil paper in the place to send it to. They can ridicule what you do what most prisons do. You the truth. Barbie on the audio and visuals. Maintain fucking smart mouth. When it's payday, to eat your heart out and vacate the state's hard house. Penitentiary, been a century to sing. Since the brick face there hit up my beat machine. Nothing to laugh at. My dog for life. Radio whack cats coming off like fat rats. Woman to have that. Stop soon as you hit the bricks. Drop music. Crash a party you invited to it. Our unit. The law don't protect us. Neglect us. Inject the fear in your heart. Arrest ya. You all yes sir. I ain't done shit. He says no lecture. The judge couldn't show less love. Call it fair. I cry when you describe solitaire. Gonna send money orders and visit till you out of there. Something personal. That's just
What we do?
I have an urge to smoke. That's just
What we do?
if the mic being used. That's just
What we do?
between me and you. That's just
What we do?
In the club, posted up, that's just.
What we do?
Yelling at the mud dogs, that's just.
What we do?
Getting drunk out in the car, that's just.
What we do?
Acting like superstars, that's
What
just.
we do?
it is with great honor that I inform you. Hip hop has a new address. P.O. Box. Bomm Sheltuh. The pleasure was all yours.
That's what it is, man. We got Bomm Sheltuh in the building, Nervous Wreck, Filthy Rich. You know what I'm saying? You already know, man. I'm talking about 22 years, bro.
Crazy.
Didn't release the record. Now you deciding to drop it on the platforms. What was the reason behind that? Why did you hold on so long with the records?
I mean, the reason why I've held on it, well, we've held on it so long is because I just wanted it to be, it's like such a special thing to a lot of people, and I wanted the new generation to receive it correctly, the way it's supposed to be received. So, and I was trying to set up like a way for them to receive it, you know what I'm saying? And it's, I don't know, in between me, I wrote a movie basically is what I did. And I'm in the process of getting that movie adapted into a TV series, and that's how I was gonna roll it out. But in the process of doing all that, there's been a lot of people just like, yo, just put it out. There's so many people that's been waiting. So many times it's been mentioned that people can't find it. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
And in my head, I was like, I want to like get it remixed and mastered, and I want to do all this stuff. And everybody's like, yo, just keep it the rawness that it had, and let's put it out, and then we can do a remix and master version later. And I was like, that makes sense. So let's do that.
Right. I was watching a podcast with J. Cole on it, and the name Bomm Sheltuh popped up.
Yep. And
Can
you couldn't find the album. So
Yeah,
that's another reason for us to have it
Right.
out.
Please elaborate to America, even to On the Rise TV. What is the relationship with Bomm Sheltuh and J. Cole?
So basically, Cole came up through our camp called Crash Unit / All Terrain Music. We discovered him when he was 15 years old, and he started reaching out to me on AOL Instant Messenger. So this is like early in the internet days, and at the time I didn't even know what Instant Messenger was. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Him and Cannabis were really utilizing. I mean, my first times of watching MCs that were utilizing that. There was a culture coming.
So yeah, Cole was definitely like a young kid, like utilizing the internet way back in the day, when a cat like myself was just like, you know what I'm saying? I had like AOL, you know, the dial up and all that, but I didn't know how to use none of that. And it was like, he was sending messages to me and I thought it was spam. You know what I'm saying? Like the AOL Instant Messenger thing would pop up and it would just be like, yo, what up? And I'm like, the hell is this? And I like X out of it. And he did that for a few days. I'm giving you exclusive right now, by the way. And then it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days into it. And he was just like, yo, what up, man? I've been trying to hit y'all up, man. My name is Blazer, and I like y'all, man. I like y'all music. I got your album. And at that point, I was like, oh, this ain't some spam or whatever this shit is. Like, this is somebody really trying to contact me. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I started chatting with him back and forth, and then I invited him out to a Bomm Sheltuh show that was happening, I don't know, the next week or within 2 weeks or whatever it was. And he ended up coming out there, and I told him at the end of our show he was going to have an open mic. So he came out there.
Yeah, it was at the skate zone.
It was
Shout out Terry Grimmel.
Yep.
Because it was a skater movement that kind of helped push us over, because we couldn't get to perform anywhere. You know what I mean? Just people just messing it up, or just people were charging too high or whatever. And for the first time, we ran into a situation where they weren't charging us, and they just said, yeah, if you can get up here.
Well, it was actually Zeph Lesson that came with it first. So Zeph had the relationship with Terry at the skate zone, which is now called DeVille Skate Shop. And then he was just like, yo, he's gonna let us perform. We gotta sell tickets and all that. So we went up there and met Terry and formed that relationship. But, you know, shout out Terry. He definitely opened up his platform to, you know what I'm saying, hip hop artists and bands in general in the Fayetteville area. He's definitely key in growing that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, shout out Zeph Lesson too. And we you know what I'm saying, we partnered up together, and we threw our first show. Like, we came from doing like talent shows and, you know what I'm saying, just like little shows around town, but never like throwing our own official show. Like, we're selling tickets. If you like us, fuck with us, you better come to the show. So like, I invited Cole to that, and he came out there, and, you know, man, we met him, you know what I'm saying, prior to going on stage and all that, was just kicking it. And then when it was over, he went up there and rapped with a couple other cats. And I was watching, he rapped like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, like, you know, taking turns with a few cats. And I was peeping him, and I was just like, yo, this little cat is nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not bad at all. So after it was, you know what I'm saying, after it was over with, we exchanged numbers, and he ended up coming over to the crib, which we called the Sheltuh, which was my house that I was living at with Snipes, who used to be in the group back in the day. Later on, after high school, me and him rented my house together, and that became the Sheltuh, where we made all the music. And Cole started coming over there with us, hanging out, teaching him how to make beats, soaking up game. He was getting on joints with Filthy and a few other cats. And then, you know what I mean, he just slowly started developing into his own. Then he started producing. His mom bought him an ASR X and started producing, and we was rhyming on his beats. He got nice, like, super quick, like, caught on super fast.
He was a sponge. Like, I'll always say it like that, because, you know, there's certain kids that have everything in front of them, but there's certain kids that just, the weird trade-off is, it wasn't never like stealing game. Like, he would look at you and he can pull out all your best qualities that you didn't even know you had. Right. You know what I mean? He'll be like, man, it's like kind of like that one time, and he's always like had this weird doughy eye, like his eyes, yo, it's kind of like this one time, he's like a fucking computer. And he's like you had said, yada, 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 yada. And you're looking at this 14, 15-year-old that hangs on your every word, but he filters out all the bullshit. Yeah. So he could you'll find out like the greater qualities of yourself from hearing his depiction of you. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's what you need, like an outside, you know. And he was definitely like, for all of us, it was just the weirdest. I can't stress that part enough. That's what I missed the most about his fame kind of getting in the way of. He was really a therapist. Like, I could talk to him about anything. I was 21 and like, she talking about I need to move out because I'm not paying bills. Oh yeah, I'll wait. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? And I mean, he would be like, that's crazy, because what you're saying is, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And I mean, now looking back, of course I'm embarrassed, but yeah, I used to call like, you know, just be having these hours-long convos with him about life. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love them like they're my kids, but then, I'll wait.
When did y'all know or notice,
dude,
that he would be a star?
I knew he had this thing, like Brian was saying, and I'm not trying to dominate the convo, but the thing is, he would regurgitate like what he had learned. And you could like, we literally, I don't know if B remembers this, but we all had these weird little secretive joints like, yo, how about I sat there and did this joint with therapists? I had them on the KRS joint with blah, blah, blah. And it was like testing an experimental robot with every little, like, just if you, like me and B would be at work, I'd be at the lab or something like that. And just anything that you would try to think up just to even challenge him with, he'll come back with something doper or bigger. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, the thing that I noticed, it was a story. He did this song called The Never Ending Story. And I mean, again, at the time, I would say Nervous was like the heavyweight storyteller or whatever. That day, when I think he was 16, because I remember 14-year-old Blazer, but 16-year-old Therapist, when he let me hear that song, and that song, you could follow it. It was like a book. Never ending story. But he titled like these characters, and he took you through their lives from the first verse to the second verse to the third verse to the point you're hanging on the third verse.
Like chapters.
Yeah, like, does he get shot or what? Like, he plans out his storytelling is what let me know. Because I figured I was the best at this and the best at that. But man, when he did a story, it would just back you down. Like, who the hell are you? How long you been on this earth? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it always made me feel like he's been here before. And I don't normally talk at length like that about him, but just because I know y'all can appreciate it, I used to really, be sitting there with old girl after sex. No, but seriously though, Therapist, it's like he's been here before, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would just baffle me, his intelligence and his love for hip hop. It was off the charts. Like, he could do anything.
I mean, I know one thing in particular that's always sat with me since it happened is, shout out Kelly Baber. He used to live with a dude, and I remember it was when technically our second album, but it was a compilation album called Fayetteville Bombers. You know, Therapist / J. Cole was like on that album several times, solo joint on there, joint with me. And
that's a story joint too.
And I remember he had told me, he's like, yeah, let my roommate hear it. And I was just like, what do you think? He was like, yo, he really likes that joint with Therapist. Like, the solo song that Therapist got. And in my head, I was like, damn, okay. Like, out of all the songs on there, he picked that one.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
But did you hear the Bomm Sheltuh one? It was like track 7.
Right.
All right, okay, yeah.
So now I'm just saying, I just always remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this cat picked Therapist out early. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And to know that, you know, he went on and became as great as y'all thought that he was going to be.
Greater. I mean, to be really honest with you, he surpassed where I thought he could even, because I didn't think people would get it. You know what I mean? It's like his generation was that first generation I noticed, like, all right, these motherfuckers want to think for a second. If you notice, his let's say school or his class was like what Kendrick and like that was it really took me back to how when me and B were coming up, we were competing against the likes of God knows what Mobb Deep is gonna make. Oh, who even knows what Outkast is gonna have out by the time we get this? And that was but to watch how those dudes, that Still Sharp and Still, Big Sean, all them little motherfuckers, the way that they, you know, they were playing a song with Therapist where he was coming from a lady's perspective of being done over or whatever. You know, one of the earlier joints said, you sorry nigga, you gonna do me just like your dad did you. And I'm just watching, it was like his face is morphed and I'm looking at a typical black woman and she's going through et cetera, you know, and it was like, that's when I kind of signed out, if you will, out of being in the know, but it was so many jumps that every time I peek back at his career, it's like, and I'm looking, and I've never been like impressed with money and shit like that. I'm impressed by like, damn, he touches that many fucking lives. Like I've been in the crazy house and a woman, y'all gonna love this part, a girl tells me as I'm cutting my hair, cause you can't do that alone in the crazy house. And so I'm cutting up my hair and she goes, you know, and I was on the verge of suicide and I popped in a J. Cole song or I heard this J. Cole song and it changed everything for me. And I was like, why are you in charge of me? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it was just, it amazed me. Like he transcends so many lives. Like I would never be, whenever anybody ever hears me say envious, like, no, he worked his ass off to get where he's at. He did all of that work. I'm just envious because I would have never, he included more people that I would have excluded. I kind of come with the loser side of the story. I always wanted to show like what the dude that got in second place or third place was thinking. Like, yeah, great for the winner. I see him in the parking lot. Like, but it was like to watch him, he makes girls feel good about themselves. You know, I'm a dude that's been hurt by women, so I have a lot of misogynistic, silly, you know what I mean? But the way that I watch him repair black women out here, just all jokes aside, it touches me because I never would have been able to do that. You know, I mean, if I would, I don't know. But the way that he touches people, he transcends fucking generations. That boy's special, man.
Has it ever been a moment where you may have looked at it like J. Cole, he surpassed Bomm, Sheltuh, or did you ever have a perspective that you
fuck with us?
I was just thinking like if the joint goes on me, and I was trying to make my face straight to be like
Cole can't fuck with me.
Because I'm such an egomaniac. I'm like, I mean,
you know, or is it just just something that good that came from Bomm Sheltuh camp? You know what I'm saying? To know that he made it. And he came from y'all camp.
Well, I'm sorry. What was the question about? I forgot.
So no, the question was: do you ever think like was there ever a moment where you that you thought that J. Cole did he surpass Bomm Sheltuh, or you was just happy that he made it from Bomm Sheltuh? He was,
yeah. Nah,
it's like he did what I feel we're all supposed to do with hip hop. It's like he grabbed what he was supposed to grab from us or what have you, and he accentuated upon it. You know what I mean? And now it's his own thing as far as like we took what EPMD and Mobb Deep, you know, and other cats gave us, and we accentuated upon it. And we were lucky enough to, galvanize into him, as far as like creativity. And so now I look at, he makes other people, it's like a tree or a fucking pyramid scheme where now to watch he got other people, when you can watch, I can see it, I don't know if y'all can see it, but when you watch somebody that's standing up there, remember when he first made it and people kind of get away that they rock like their favorite MC, and I would just watch like, damn, he got that. He got people that want to, shit. Mav, I used to be very scared about Mav because we call them coal miners. Right. When you got a coal miner, that's a motherfucker to do anything to get the coal. But it's so good that like I brag on Mav now because he did the same thing. He took what he got and I watch him. He's accentuating upon it. That's the only thing you'll hear me kind of be like, it's magical when it comes out to hip hop. Like this shit, it takes nerds to turn them into kings. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he used it for the proper thing. We always wanted, I think, to watch the weirdo or the freaking the nerd, and what I mean nerd, I mean the guy that was more concerned with schoolwork and things like that. We always wanted to see him win. We just didn't know how it was going to happen.
Right,
so to
right.
watch that happen is it's a blessing. The same dude that loved KRS-One, the dude that taught us about edutainment, is like he helped spark. Now he got something to show his son. Like, all right, motherfucker, you don't want to listen to me? Tell him something, Cole. You know what I'm saying?
Do y'all still have a relationship with Cole?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just we try to not make it corny, but like me, I big it up all the time, like the crazy uncle. Like, you know my boy rap now, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I like that B definitely keeps it things in perspective, because Lord knows with B, there would have been like 17 people on this tour bus. Like, yeah, hey, hear him out. He raps. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a thing where we keep things the way that they are, but there's no love lost, and there's really like no problem with nothing like that. Like B was just at the video shoot for Smeagoli or whatever.
Smino, yeah.
So it's like he's still, you know, and that's because they around each other in the same area, but he still messes with me. It's just he doesn't mess with me as much as I would want him to mess with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I miss my little broseph, you know? But at the end of the day, the trade-off is, I mean, this is gonna sound corny, but the trade-off is this motherfucker's out here making the world better. Really. You know what I mean? Whether he's trying to or not, his example that he set, I love his fans.
Yes, you do.
Yo,
Yes, you do.
but seriously, shout out Raven. Seriously, I love his fans. His fans are the greatest. The motherfuckers are thinkers. You know what I mean? They think out there, white, black, you name it. Like, I love that shit. So I really just I advocate for it. It's just I think people get the wrong idea sometimes, and that's just thinking small. Like, I guarantee you look at any picture or something, B's there. So there's always a presence. If you look at germs there, like one of us is somewhere in the background of the picture. Bobby looming over in the corner and shit.
Right, that's dope, though.
Yeah.
To even keep that relationship going, even after the fame, and that shows what type of guy that Cole is. You know what I mean? To remain the loyalness. You know,
he done put me in a place a couple of times. He's looked out, you know what I mean? Like, he looks out on real life things.
Right.
And he's always been very grounded, and so he sees the forest for the trees. So whereas, and this be just, you know, younger and more ignorant, whereas I want to be on and this, that, and the third, this man will keep me, you know, fed entire, you know, a year, whatever the situation calls for. He helps us out in so many ways that he doesn't want press for. So it's like that's a good boy, man. He's a very fucking good boy.
Absolutely. Shout out to Cole, man. Keep doing your thing, brother. So what's next for Bomm Sheltuh, man? Before we wrap things up, what's next? What can people look forward to from Bomm Sheltuh?
What's next?
I just wanted to hop on this table and I just thought about it breaking and shit. Like, yo, this is what, oh my God. Try to take it to another level. But, try to show off and shit. No, seriously, I definitely have my own little personal problems and shit like that, as I'm sure other people do. That's about the only thing keeping like this music. You know what I mean? Like that man doing grown man shit. I'm trying to get this man child together in here, and it's not as easy. I've left my toys all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But real rap, like we definitely are just trying to push the initiative. And like hip hop was made years ago to like save impoverished youth and people that weren't included, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, mostly monetarily and things of that nature. We made a place a safe place for us, and I just wish more of us would kind of go back to that place. Like, we built it for that reason. Like, when people leave and kind of walk away from hip hop, and you're looking at one of the main ones, I love rock music, etc., like to a crazy degree, but at the end of the day, hip-hop was made for, this is going to sound cheesy, but like for me, you, for you, everybody. It was made for your kids. It was made for us. And we keep giving it to I don't blame the industry, but we keep giving it to big business, not getting the proper deals out, and then we're upset with hip-hop. So you got so many dudes that are my age that should be out here still spreading what I call their gospel or what have you, and it could be empowering people, but instead they've stopped because we're thinking it has to be all about that, and it has to be all about, when really I feel like we should take back the rings of hip hop and basically use it for what we was using it for, communicating and involvement with those that would usually have it. That's what I want to see.
Facts.
So
we're gonna try to.
what's next for Bomm Sheltuh is the original Food, Clothing, and Shelter album is coming out.
But see, brother, look, if I could still, nah, but seriously,
The Cole that the album that Cole found us, and you know what I'm saying, that's coming out. And then we are adapting our story into a TV show that's coming out. I can't say when, but that's getting worked on now. And after that, who knows? We definitely got some more albums in us. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we just need the people to tell us if we need to drop more albums or not. After that, that's what we need to know.
Absolutely. And I think it's dope, bro. I wish you both of you well on your journey. Bomm Sheltuh is back in full effect, so make sure that y'all tap in with them. Tell the people where to find and follow y'all at one more time.
You can follow us at Bomm Sheltuh, at Nerve Wreck, at DF Bomm. Bomm is BOMM, Sheltuh, SHELTUH. Nerve Wreck, NERVRECK.
word. I'm working on a new Salvation Army album called Bomm Sheltuh. I want a lot of y'all to come check us out. And if you could bring cans, that would be great. And I'm fucking with you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And real rap is just, honestly, just give cats my age something to do besides, you know, sit at the crib and mess over their lives, man. Let's get back out here and start trying to just create, just for the sake of creating it. You don't got to be famous. Just make an impact. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. Any last shout outs?
Shout out to the whole Fayetteville city. Anybody that's ever worked with us, didn't want to work with us, wanted to work with us, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody that was around back in the day that, you know, that was heavy on the influence, you know, much appreciated, man. Appreciate you. Fayetteville, love.
That's what it is, man. Well, you have it right here, man. Exclusive interview right here with Nervous Wreck, 50 Rich, Bomm
Rich is
Sheltuh,
solid.
man. So you already know what time it is, man. I have been your host, King Maserati Santana. Make sure y'all tap in every Wednesday, man. Matter of fact, every week. Matter of fact, every day. America, you always good, man. On the Rize TV, it's all the way up, baby. Love, peace, and happiness.
Call that hip hop hairline.
I kept fake friends with snake skins like, but that was my stupid ass. Don't blame them. I still know what you did last summer was real dope. We detoxed the globe to see past the billfold. Fucking rich folk. My peeps is custom built broke. Let me fix that. Cock the hammer to drill holes. Nothing personal. That's just